Hello everyone, I am Darshini, Assistant Professor of Mathematics. In the previous sessions, we have learnt about GCD and LCM, prime and composite numbers. In the last session, we have learnt fundamental theorem of arithmetic. In this session, I am going to discuss about two things. First, we are going to learn how to find out GCD and LCM using fundamental theorem of arithmetic. And later, I am going to define three important arithmetical functions: Euler's phi function, number of divisors function, and sum of divisors function. And I am going to give each of them a formula, and let us see some examples as well. Let's get in. First, let us know how to find out GCD and LCM using prime factorization. First, let me consider non-zero integers a and b. Let a, b be any two non-zero integers. By the fundamental theorem of arithmetic, I can express a and b as a product of powers of prime numbers. So, let ab equal to p1 power alpha 1, p2 power alpha 2, etc. pk power alpha k, and b be equal to p1 power beta 1, p2 power beta 2, etc. pk power beta k, where pi's are prime numbers. Here the prime factor of A need not be a prime factor of B, and similarly the prime factor of B need not be a prime factor of A. In such cases, we can take the power equal to 0, so that will not be a problem. So alpha I and beta I are greater than or equal to 0, where I lies between 1 and k. Okay. Now let us consider a divisor of A. The divisor of A will be of the form d equal to p1 power gamma 1, p2 power gamma 2, etc. pk power gamma k, where each gamma I should be less than or equal to alpha I for all I between 1 and k. Similarly, if I consider a divisor of B, that will be of this form, and gamma I will be less than or equal to beta I. So any common divisor of A and B will be of the form p1 power gamma 1, p2 power gamma 2, etc. pk power gamma k, where gamma I less than or equal to alpha I and gamma I less than or equal to beta I for all I. Now, if these two conditions has to be satisfied simultaneously, gamma I should be less than or equal to minimum of alpha I and beta I. This is how the common divisor of A and B looks like. Now the greatest common divisor should be gamma I equal to minimum of alpha and beta I. So the GCD of A and B is equal to p1 power gamma 1, p2 power gamma 2, etc. pk power gamma k, where gamma I is the minimum of alpha I and beta I. Now we know that the product of GCD and LCM is equal to AB. If I multiply this, I get here p1 power alpha 1 plus beta 1, in general pi power alpha I plus beta I. So we have alpha I plus beta I is equal to minimum of alpha I and beta I plus maximum of alpha I and beta I. Okay. So that the LCM of AB should be equal to some p1 power delta 1, p2 power delta 2, etc. pk power delta k, where delta I is the maximum of alpha I and beta I for all I between 1 and k. Okay. So to find out the GCD and LCM of two non-zero integers A and B, first express them as a product of powers of prime numbers, and the GCD will be equal to p1 power gamma 1, p2 power gamma 2, etc. pk power gamma k, where gamma I is the minimum of alpha and beta I, and the LCM is equal to P1 power delta 1, P2 power delta 2, etc. Pk power delta k, where delta I is the maximum of alpha and beta I. Okay. Now let us see some examples. Okay, first let us find out the GCD and LCM of 360 and 750. Let me factorize this 360 as a product of prime numbers. This is divisible by 2, so 2 into 180 is 360, 2 into 90 is 180, 2 into 45 is 90, 3 into 15 is 45, 3 into 5 is 15. Okay. So 360 is equal to 2 cube into 3 square into 5 to the power of 1. Similarly, if I factorize 750, I get here 750 can be written as 275. Okay, now we can factorize 125 as 5 into 25. This is equal to 5 into 5. So 750 is equal to 2 power 1 into 3 power 1 into 5 cube. Okay. Now the GCD of 360 and 750 contains the same prime factors as that of 360 and 750, 2, 3 and 5. And the LCM of 360 and 750 also contains the same prime factors 2, 3 and 5. Where for the GCD, the power of 2 is the minimum of 3 and 1, which is 1. Here the power is maximum of 1 and 3, which is 3. Similarly, for 3, the minimum of 2 and 1 is 1. The maximum of 2 and 1 is 2. And for 5, the minimum of 1 and 3 is 1. Maximum is 3. So the GCD is 2 power 1 into 3 into 5, which is 30. And the LCM is 2 cube into 3 square into 5 cube, which is 9000. Okay. Now let us consider one more example. To find out the GCD of 1080 and 6125, first I am going to factorize them. I get 1080 as 2 cube into 3 cube into 5. Usually I prefer to factorize starting from 2, then later by 3, then by 5, then by 7, then by 11, 13, 17 and so on. Similarly, if I factorize 6125, I get 5 cube into 7 square. Okay. If you observe here we don't have the factor 7. Here we don't have the factors 2 and 3. So I am going to rewrite them as 1080 is equal to 2 cube into 3 cube into 5 power 1 into 7 power 0. Similarly, 6125 can be written as 2 power 0 into 3 power 0 into 5 cube into 7 square. So the GCD will be equal to 2 to the power of minimum of 3 and 0, which is 0, into 3 power minimum of 3 and 0, which is 0, into 5 power minimum of 1 and 3, which is 1, into 7 power minimum of 0 and 2, which is 0, which is equal to 5. And when we find out the LCM of 1080 and 6125, I get 2 cube into 3 cube into 5 cube into 7 square. Calculating this using the calculator, I get 1323000. Next, we shall define Euler's phi function, which is also known as Euler's torsion function. The Euler's phi function is a function from z plus to z plus defined by phi of n is equal to number of positive integers less than or equal to n, which are relatively prime to n. Say for example, if I take n equal to 10, let us find out the GCD of 10 with all the integers less than or equal to 10. The GCD of 1 and 10 is 1, GCD of 2 and 10 is not equal to 1, GCD of 3 and 10 is 1, GCD of 4 and 10, which is not equal to 1. GCD of 5 and 10, which is 5, which is also not equal to 1. GCD of 6 and 10, which is 2, so hence not equal to 1. GCD of 7 10 is 1. GCD of 8 and 10 is not equal to 1. GCD of 9 and 10 is equal to 1. GCD of 10 and 10, which is 10, not equal to 1. So for 1, 3, 7 and 9, the GCD with 10 is equal to 1. So phi of 10 is equal to 4. In general, to find out phi of n, we have a formula. Phi of n is equal to n into product of 1 minus 1 by p, where p is a prime factor of n. Okay. To simplify this, if I consider the prime factorization of n, suppose if n is equal to p1 power alpha 1, p2 power alpha 2, etc., pk power alpha k, this implies phi of n will be equal to p1 power alpha 1, p2 power alpha 2, etc., pk power alpha k into 1 minus 1 by p1 into 1 minus 1 by p2, etc., 1 minus 1 by pk. To express in the most simplified form, I am going to take LCM here and I am going to cancel p1, p2, pk here. So I get phi of n is equal to p1 power alpha 1 minus 1, p2 power alpha 2 minus 1, etc., pk power alpha k minus 1 into p1 minus 1, p2 minus 1, etc., pk minus 1. So I am going to use this formula to find out phi of n, which is a simplified version of this formula. The proof of this formula is beyond the scope of our syllabus, so we shall consider this formula to find out phi of n. Now let us see some examples. Now to find out phi of 360 and phi of 144, first I am going to express 360 as a product of prime numbers. I get 2 into 180, which is 360, 2 into 90 is 180, 2 into 45 is 90, 3 into 15 is 45, 3 into 5 is 15. So 360 is equal to 2 cube into 3 square into 5 power 1. Now to find out phi of 360, this will be equal to 2 power 3 minus 1 into 3 power 2 minus 1 into 5 power 1 minus 1 into 2 minus 1, 3 minus 1 into 5 minus 1. This is using the above formula. We get here 2 square into 3 into 1 into 1 into 2 into 4, which is equal to 96. Okay. Now to find out phi of 144, first we should know the prime factorization of 144. We get 2 into 72 is 144, 2 into 36 is 72, 2 into 18 is 36, 2 into 9 is 18, 3 into 3 is 9. So 144 is equal to 2 to the power of 4 into 3 square, and hence phi of 144 will be equal to 2 to the power of 4 minus 1, which is 3, into 3 to the power of 2 minus 1, which is 1, into 2 minus 1 into 3 minus 1. So I get here 8 into 3 into 1 into 2, which is equal to 48. Okay. Now I am going to define two more important arithmetical functions, number of divisors function and sum of divisors function, which is also known as sigma function. Number of divisors function, which is denoted by tau, is a function from z plus to z plus and is defined by tau of n is equal to number of positive divisors of n. Okay. Say for example, if I take n equal to 20, the divisors of 20 are 1, 2, 4, 5, 10 and 20. We have 6 distinct divisors, so tau of 20 will be equal to 6. Mathematically, we can write tau of n as summation of 1 for each divisor d of n. Okay. Now the sigma function is denoted by the symbol sigma, is also an arithmetical function from z plus to z plus, which is defined by sigma of n is equal to sum of distinct divisors of n. So by the definition, sigma of n will be equal to summation of d for each d dividing n. Say for example, if I consider the same example 20, sigma of 20 will be equal to sum of all these divisors, which is equal to 1 plus 2 plus 4 plus 5 plus 10 plus 20, which is equal to 35, 39 plus 3, which is 42. Okay. Now for any positive integer n, if I consider the prime factorization of n, say n equal to p1 power alpha 1, p2 power alpha 2, etc., pk power alpha k, then tau of n is given by alpha 1 plus 1 into alpha 2 plus 1, etc., alpha k plus 1. This is because any divisor of n will be of the form d, which is equal to p1 power gamma 1, p2 power gamma 2, etc., pk power gamma k, where each gamma I is less than or equal to alpha I, where gamma I is less than or equal to alpha I greater than or equal to 0. So we have alpha I plus 1 choices for each power. So the number of divisors is equal to the product of alpha 1 plus 1, alpha 2 plus 1, etc., alpha k plus 1. And sigma of n will be equal to p1 power alpha 1 plus 1 minus 1 divided by p1 minus 1 into p2 power alpha 2 plus 1 minus 1 divided by p2 minus 1, and so on, pk power alpha k plus 1 minus 1 divided by pk minus 1. Okay. Now let us see some examples. Find the number of divisors and sum of divisors of 250. First, let us find out the prime factorization of 250. We get 2 into 125, which is 250. So here we get 5 into 25 is 125. 5 into 5 is 25. Okay. So 250 is equal to 2 to the power of 1 into 5 cube. So the number of divisors of 250 is tau of 250, which is given by 1 plus 1 into 3 plus 1. 1 plus 1 into 3 plus 1, which is equal to 8. Okay. Similarly, to find out sum of divisors of 250, which is sigma of 250, I use the formula of sigma of n, which is p1 power alpha 1 plus 1 minus 1 divided by p1 minus 1, etc., pk power alpha k plus 1 minus 1 divided by pk minus 1. Okay. So sigma of 250 will be equal to 2 power 1 plus 1, which is 2 minus 1 divided by 2 minus 1 into 5 power 3 plus 1, which is 5 power 4 minus 1 divided by 5 minus 1. So we get here 2 square is 4, 4 minus 1 is 3 divided by 1 into 5 power 4 is 625 minus 1 is 624 divided by 4, which is equal to 468. Okay. Let us consider one final example. verify that sigma of n equal to 2n for n equal to 28. First I consider the prime factorization of 28, which is 2 square into 7. Now if I find out sigma of n, sigma of 28, which will be equal to 2 cube minus 1 divided by 2 minus 1 into 7 square minus 1 divided by 7 minus 1, which will be equal to 8 minus 1, which is 7 divided by 1 into 48 divided by 6. If I solve this, I get here 56, which is same as 2 into 28, which is 2n. Hence it is verified that sigma of n is equal to 2n for n equal to 28.